Oh, we here. Y'all like it, huh? Y'all like it. Y'all like it. Y'all like it. Lego. Oh, yeah. Let's get it. Matter of fact, let's do this a little bit. Let's do this just one more time. Just one more again. And let's do it the right way. You are now in tune with the most wise Fleezus. And this here is Black Renaissance Podcast. Oh man, we got some new for that ass. Y'all gonna love it here, boy. Y'all gonna love it here. I told y'all we just keep updating. I'm telling y'all. You know we not letting up. The more that y'all keep supporting, the more we keep growing. It's the most wise Fleezus. And we here, man. Happy Rosh Hashanah. Happy Rosh Hashanah. Yeah. Let's do a sound check real quick. There we go. There we go. But listen, man, we just trying to keep everything. We just trying to keep everything, you know, just new and updated and copacetic. You know, I really wanted to bring a different element to the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes a nigga wanna try something new. You heard? Sometimes a nigga want to see what he could do, but you know, most importantly, and you know, I'm sorry about that. You know, it's supposed to be some other things. Supposed to be some other things showing up and all that, but it is what it is, man. We gonna do what it do. We gonna make it work. You know what I'm saying? Y'all supposed to be able to donate, and it's like supposed to like show up on the screen and all that. Maybe my coding was wrong. Maybe it was right. I don't know. But let's get right into it, man.
As they did for the stimulus checks, as they do for the military budget. America spends more on its military budget than a lot of the developing nations combined. They do not say, oh, well, we got to raise everybody's taxes. As a matter of fact, when Donald Trump sent out the stimulus checks, when Donald Trump and them started doing the PPP loan, taxes were at its lowest rate in American history. So if you want to try to present the idea that federal revenue comes from taxes, then how was Donald Trump, when his administration was in office, how were they able to do all those stimulus loans and the PPP loans and raise unemployment while taxes were at its lowest rate in American history? I am just really tired. As they did for the stimulus checks, as they do for the military budget. America spends more on its military budget than a lot of the developing nations combined. They do not say, oh, well, we got to raise everybody's taxes. As a matter of fact, when Donald Trump sent out the stimulus checks, when Donald Trump and them started doing the PPP loans, taxes were at its lowest rate in American history. So if you want to try to present the idea that federal revenue comes from taxes, then how was Donald Trump, when his administration was in office, how were they able to do all those stimulus loans and the PPP loans and raise unemployment while taxes were at its lowest rate in American history? I am just really tired of us trying to come up with a way to say reparations can't be done. Like Drixon said, when there's a will, there's a way. The way has always been there. The will has not been there, but the will's going to be there when people like me get there.
Well,
Yeah. I heard the man. The will gonna be there when he get there. So let's get into it, y'all, cause it was a real good build on that panel right there, man. It was a real good build, and I feel like I really feel like this is something that we could learn from today. You know, I feel like this is something that I feel like this is something that we could build upon. We could you know we could use this as a very teachable moment, right? And like I said, it's Hashina. Rosh Hashina. It's Rosh Hashina today. So I feel like it's very necessary, very needed. Very necessary, very needed for us to speak on this and speak on this in the correct way, you know. Because I think a lot of times when we speak about reparations, a lot of people feel it as if it is gonna come out their tax dollars. A lot of people feel as if, you know, it is gonna come from some place other than the federal government. But before we do that, oh, that bad. Okay, shout out, you know. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to Jessica hitting up that Cash App and all that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to her, man. But anyway, while we doing that, let's prepare for our blessings, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we are blessed to be FBA. And you know, I know that the Hebrew thing might turn some people off and all that, you feel me? But today is Rosh Hashanah, and I wanna break this down a little bit before we even get into this video. Cause I like using these as teachable moments, man. You know. So what's Rosh Hashanah? It's a millennia-old holiday and is an occasion for reflection and often marked by prayer, symbolic foods, and blowing of traditional horn called the shofar, a shofar. Here is what you need to know about the history of Rosh Hashanah. The holiday has been celebrated for over 1,000 years. Rosh Hashanah has its roots in the Talmud, which is the you know, like the Torah, the Bible, you know, Jewish literature. Although it wasn't entirely clear when the holiday was first celebrated, the Talmud says the world was created on the first day of Teshuvah, the 7th month of the Hebrew calendar. Jewish people celebrate Rosh Hashanah on the first and second days of Teshuvah. And Rosh Hashanah began yesterday. It ends tomorrow on the 27th. Jewish people celebrate, which usually lines up in September, October, in the Gregorian calendar. Although it's not completely clear when Jewish people first celebrated Rosh Hashanah, the book of Leviticus includes a passage in which God tells Moses that the first day of the 7th month is the day for rest, marking the following of marked with the blowing of a horn, but it doesn't include the name Rosh Hashanah. I'll repeat. God tells Moses that the first day of the 7th month is a day for rest, marked with the blowing of a horn, but it doesn't include the name Rosh Hashanah. Now, right, and they say like the earliest mention of, you know, Rosh Hashanah was in the Mishnah, So in the year 200, 20 years after Christ passed away. Now, Rosh Hashanah means head of the year in Hebrew, and the 2-day holiday is considered a time to reflect and repent for anticipation of the coming year. It is also referred to as a day of judgment. The holiday traditionally calls on people to consider how they might have failed or fallen short in the past year, or how to improve and grow in the coming year. This is symbolized by one of Rosh Hashanah's most iconic traditions, Tashlik, in which participants symbolically cast off their sins by throwing morsels of bread into a body of running water. There are a lot of Jewish people and practice associated with Rosh Hashanah. A lot of people individually celebrate Rosh Hashanah by attending the synagogue and refraining from work, including schoolwork. Sometimes the use of electronics. Family might also use candles at home. So, you're supposed to rest everything, eating sweets, and they tell you, like, the things to eat and stuff like that. The shofar is blown to call to repentance. One of the most distinctive elements of Rosh Hashanah is the blowing of the shofar's horn, a ram's horn. The blowing of the horn is used to call on repentance during the holiday. The horn is typically blown in the morning of both days of Rosh Hashanah. The unique instrument dates back thousands of years to the time of Abraham and Isaac. And Rosh Hashanah kicks off the High Holy Days. Rosh Hashanah kicks off High Holy Days, also known as the 10 Days of Penitence. The High Holy Days end with Yom Kippur, which is considered the most sacred Jewish holiday. Yom Kippur is also known as the Day of Atonement. It represents an opportunity for people to atone for their sins and ask for forgiveness from the Lord, the Most High, Yahweh, and other people. While Rosh Hashanah tends to be a joyful celebration, Yom Kippur is a more somber holiday marked by fasting. So Yom Kippur is October 4th and 5th, for my Hebrews and all that. So if you want to if you want to fast, get to it. And with that being said, shalom. So let's get into the conversation now. My fault. And I also got my red string here. I want you, you know what I'm saying? And we have our prayer book and all that. So, just let me know in the chat or whatever, if y'all want me to actually say the prayer on the Ben Parat prayer on live and stuff like that. But otherwise, let's get to the video and do what we gotta do. Shout out to like I said, shout out to Jess on the Cash App. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You know what I'm saying? And let's get to what we came here to do.
As they did for the stimulus checks, as they do for the military budget. America spends more on its military budget than a lot of the developing nations combined. They do not say, oh, well, we got to raise everybody's taxes. As a matter of fact, when Donald Trump sent out the stimulus checks, when Donald Trump and them started doing the PPP loans, taxes were at its lowest rate in American history. So if you want to try to present the idea that federal revenue comes from taxes, then how was Donald Trump, when his administration was in office, how were they able to do all those stimulus loans and the PPP loans and raise unemployment while taxes were at its lowest rate in American history? I am just really tired of us trying to come up with a way to say reparations can't be done. Like Justin said, when there's a will, there's a way. The way has always been there. The will has not been there, but the will's going to be there when people like me get there.
Well,
this is why
we can have a discussion about.
And this is why we got to get people like our good brother
and how that can be done.
We already know how it just has to get done. We already know how. It's already been done. Also, there is something the federal government has called.
But you said that these payouts for the Japanese and for the Jews and for Native Americans, you said that they didn't come from tax dollars. They came from some other source. So I'm just wondering what your evidence is for that.
You can research it on Google like I did, but if you want me to, I can direct message you the articles, okay? If that's what you need. But you're free to research it on Google. Federal revenue does not come from tax dollars. It does not. You will not see in the history of America them raising our taxes so we can pay the Japanese reparations. You will not see in the history of America just a few. As a matter of fact, here's a better example for you. They're paying reparations like 2 years ago to people of Guam who were taken as prisoners during World War II. Did you hear about our taxes being raised to pay for that? Matter of fact, this guy, Joe Crow, he just renewed the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act to continue paying reparations to people in Colorado, New Mexico, Puerto Rico, Guam, who were exposed to radiation when America was doing nuclear testing. Did you hear about our taxes being raised for that? Okay. Well, matter of fact, right now they're about to do reparations. I know y'all heard about this one. This was a big fight. They're about to do reparations for veterans who were exposed to burn pits. I know you heard about that. That was just a month ago. Did you hear about our taxes being raised to pay for that? No. It comes from the federal government generating its own currency. Also, the federal government has a fund called a judgment fund. A judgment fund is pretty much an unlimited reserve where the federal government can generate currency to pay for any wrongdoing for which they have responsibility. So I'm not sure, Mr. Evans. I'm not trying to attribute bad motives to your discussion, but it sounds like we're doing that little song and dance that the Republicans always get blamed for doing, but the Democrats do it too. Where anytime Black Americans, descendants of American slaves, say to this government, "You owe us pay," then all of a sudden we start doing that the little tap dance. I'm dancing right now, you can see me. Oh, we can't do it because of this. Oh,
Butter
but what about
biscuits.
this? Oh, but what about this? That's BS. Pay us our money. You have the money. It's our money. We raised the wealth. Pay it to us now.
No, I'm actually just trying to make sure I understand an argument that doesn't seem logical. That's all I was saying.
Well, look up. I would encourage you to look up speeches by Ben Bernanke, Alan Greenspan, and several other Federal Reserve chairs who are on record saying the American government can never run out of money and never not meet its fiscal demands. Please look that up yourself. The Federal Chair Reserve people, they say it and explain it much better than little old poor me living in a swampy coastal town in rural South Carolina can explain.
Well, I want to ask Chris Evans, where do you think the money comes from to send to Ukraine and them? Where do you think Biden is getting this money to send?
Right. I guess they're paying a Ukraine tax, must be. I guess our taxes just went up to pay Ukraine. Miss Evans, where do you think it comes from?
Well, it doesn't matter whether it comes from the money
see,
that.
No, it
and you
doesn't
see,
matter.
people
No,
get
I'm
quiet. People get quiet when you start asking real questions. You feel me? When you start asking real questions, like, where you think the money come from? Where you think that's, you know what I'm saying? But you see how the agitator. I don't want to call. I doubt this is a brother who was speaking. But the agitator. We just want to call him the agitator, the detractor. You see, out of the detractor, an agitator started the conversation with, "Oh, I don't think we want us to pay. We don't want our tax dollars to go to something we didn't do," because that's always the common excuse. That's always the common excuse from these people. We don't want our tax dollars to go to this and the third one. At the end of the day, our ancestors couldn't pay taxes because they were slaves. They didn't have the chance. They didn't have the opportunity to pay a tax. So now you're gonna sit here and try to, throw a whole bunch of wrenches in the game, throw a whole bunch of, wrenches in the mechanics and in the system and the framework that us as foundational Black Americans is trying to create. And then when our good brother, our future politician, the most celebrated man in Twitter spaces, one of the undefeated champions, may be underneath the undisputed undefeated champion Tariq Nasheed of Twitter space. I believe he's like 66-0 or whatever the case may be. You could actually track it on some of his Twitter spaces, especially if you go backwards. Look in the comment section and you will see me tracking almost every one of his victories against people just trying to intellectually debate with Tariq Nasheed, especially in the beginning of when he started getting on Twitter spaces and made himself available. It was a lot of trolls. So if you go to those early Tariq Radio Twitter spaces that he uploaded on his page, go to the comments, you will see BRP Flea up in the comments documenting every victory against these debaters. I look at YouTube as an intellectual coliseum, as an intellectual arena for the smartest and the wisest to compete to get to the top. You feel me? That's how I view it. That's how I view this. You feel me? And like I said, pardon all that. Today, like I said, is Rosh Hashanah. I am a Hebrew. and all that. You know, this is something that I'm real heavy on. You know, I mean, I don't put it out there like that. You feel me? But that is definitely my belief system. Well, let's get back to this Democrat pack.
Tax dollars. It does not. You will not see.
Some other source. So I'm just wondering.
They've been done. Also,
Right,
there's something the federal government has called.
But you said that these payouts for the Japanese and for the Jews and for Native Americans.
Get there.
Well,
wait, Mr. Evans. There's something called
we can have a discussion about, you know, how we get to reparations and how that can be done.
We already know how. It just has to get done. We already know how. It's already been done. Also, there's something the federal government has called.
But you said that these payouts for the Japanese and for the Jews and for Native Americans, you said that they didn't come from tax dollars. They came from some other source. So I'm just wondering what your evidence is for that.
You can research it on Google like I did, but if you want me to, I can direct message you the articles, okay? If that's what you need. But you're free to research it on Google. Federal revenue does not come from tax dollars. It does not. You will not see in the history of America them raising our taxes so we can pay the Japanese reparations. You will not see in the history of America. Just a few. As a matter of fact, here's a better example for you. They're paying reparations like 2 years ago to people of Guam who were taken as prisoners during World War II. Did you hear about our taxes being raised to pay for that? Matter of fact, this guy, Joe Crow, he just renewed the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act to continue paying reparations to people in Colorado, New Mexico, Puerto Rico, Guam, who were exposed to radiation when America was doing nuclear testing. Did you hear about our taxes being raised for that? Okay. Well, matter of fact, right now, they're about to do reparations. I know y'all heard about this one. This was a big fight. They're about to do reparations for veterans who were exposed to burn pits. I know you heard about that. That was just a month ago. Did you hear about our taxes being raised to pay for that? No. It comes from the federal government generating its own currency. Also, the federal government has a fund called a judgment fund. A judgment fund is pretty much an unlimited reserve where the federal government can generate currency to pay for any wrongdoing for which they have responsibility. So I'm not sure, Mr. Evans. I'm not trying to attribute bad motives to your discussion, but it sounds like we're doing that little song and dance that the Republicans always get blamed for doing, but the Democrats do it too. Where anytime Black Americans, descendants of American slaves.
Facts. Y'all love just trying to blame the Republicans for every single thing. Every single wrongdoing, and it be the Democrats too. Most of the time, it's really the liberals who push it through, to be honest with you. Keep in mind, they gotta vote for it. So it's like, we know what's up. You can't sit here and try to, keep on lying to us like this ain't that ain't this. We know what it is.
Say to this government, you owe us pay. Then all of a sudden we start doing the little tap dance. I'm dancing right now, as you can see me. Oh, we can't do it because of this. Oh, well, what about this? Oh, well, what about this? That's
the robot dance right
the money.
there.
It's our money. We raised the wealth. Pay it to us now.
No, I'm actually just trying to make sure I understand an argument that doesn't seem logical. That's all I was saying.
Well, look up.
You're trying to understand an argument that does not seem logical. It does not seem logical. Well, guess what? Our good brother Marcel Dixon has made it logical. But you have chosen cognitive dissonance. You have chosen confusion. You see, you got to understand that a lot of these people have chosen confusion. They chosen cognitive dissonance when they chose white supremacy, when they chose to go with the dominant society, when they chose to go with the status quo instead of going with their brothers. See, that's the problem in our community. This is something that we must get off. This is something that, you know what I'm saying? That ain't it. That ain't this. We gotta get off that, man. Niggas wanna really, you know what I'm saying? We wanna really see change. We gotta believe in ourselves. And a lot of the topics I'm gonna be discussing today is going to be believing in ourselves. Because after this topic, we're going to speak about FBA creating their own financial institutions. Not financial, I'm sorry. Medical institutions. Can black people build their own health institution inside a system of white supremacy? That is the question I have asked myself, and I will be doing the research as I prepare for the next segment that will be probably airing today around 3 p.m. Eastern time, or maybe 6 p.m. I don't know, Eastern time, you know. But it's going to be 3 p.m. on the West. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in the West, you're good. You know, shout out to my people in the West and all that. Shout out to my baby girl. But let's get back to it.
I will encourage you to look up speeches by Ben Bernanke, Alan Greenspan, and several other Federal Reserve chairs who are on record saying the American.
Also, let me know if y'all would like me to bring up a female co-host. You know, I've been really thinking on that, but I don't know. You know, I got like a lot of guys and stuff. I don't know.
American government can never run out of money and never not meet its fiscal demands. Please look that up yourself. The Federal Chair Reserve people, they say it and explain it much better than little old poor me living in a swampy coastal town in rural South Carolina can explain.
Well, I want to ask Chris Evans, where do you think the money?
And our good brother, you don't gotta try to, you know, humble yourself for this man, because if y'all don't know, Chris Evans is like, he's like a venture capitalist dude. He's heavy in the in that like wealth society. He's into like, you know, entrepreneurial endeavors. I'm pretty sure he's 100% a millionaire. You know, he has been, you know, in a lot of magazines, and he worked with a lot of known people. So he's a known name. Like, this is not just some rinky dink person, but he is an agitator and he is a detractor, and he is you know, someone who since he's benefited from the system of white supremacy, you know, since he benefits from the system of white supremacy, he is a proponent of that system. And I don't want to say so I was going to say something like an accomplice, you know, to white supremacy, but I don't want to call him an accomplice. You know, I don't want to say he's an accomplice, because he can't be an accomplice, but you know, he's definitely indoctrinated with that white supremacist mindset, those white supremacist values. But this ain't no rinky dink dude, you know. You know, so when our good brother says, you know, just a poor guy from this little swampy town, you know, he's speaking to a man of wealth, trying to kind of like almost belittle himself, you know, and which he doesn't have to, because at the end of the day, Marcel, you are going to be a major part of politics. You know, you took on one of the hardest, like, some real competition in Clyburn. Took it head on. And in 2024, we shall come back. So I would appreciate if everyone donate to our good brother's campaign. I'm actually, you know, maybe try to pull that up while we speaking and stuff like that, while we going through this. But if not, you know, just tap in, Google Marcel Dixon, you know what I'm saying, and really get in tune with the brother's policies and stuff like that. But let's get back into it.
Comes from to send to Ukraine and them. Where do you think Biden is getting this money to send?
Right. I guess they're paying a Ukraine tax, must be. I guess our taxes just went up to pay Ukraine. Miss Evans, where do you think it comes from?
Now he
Well,
quiet.
it doesn't matter whether it comes from the money that.
No, it doesn't matter.
No, if you let me finish.
And he know where it come from.
The point I'm trying to make. It doesn't matter whether the money comes from this, the exact revenue that the U.S. government generates in any given year. The point simply is whether the money comes out of this year's tax revenue or next year's tax revenue. At some point, the bill is due. So you're either paying with the money that you have or you're accumulating debt.
But we're
So
not
that's
saying
the
it's coming up
point
tax revenue at all.
that is not quite adding up.
Miss
You got
Evans, hold on,
selective
wait a
hearing,
minute.
sir.
I think I've seen your page before. I believe you are aren't you? You align. You consider yourself a liberal? Am I correct?
I do, but I'm not sure what
Okay,
that
great.
has to do
That's
with
all I
what we're
need to hear.
talking about right now.
It has plenty to do with the conversation. Don't you support canceling all student debt? Don't you
No.
support that?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, that's what a lot of liberals support. So, don't you understand that right
Damn,
now
so
with
you don't
PPP
support
loans,
nothing
they
for
spend hundreds of
for
billions of
poor
dollars in the
people. Once you
PPP
got your
loans, or tens
million,
of billions. I don't
you
know the
was
amount, and
good.
I don't care. Do you know what's
This is one of those people that once they got their millions, they don't give a f about nobody else. You know what I'm saying? You don't even care about people going to college, and I'm pretty sure he went through college because just based on whatever like research and stuff like that. It's like, come on, dude.
happening with the
Come on.
PPP loans right now? Do you know what's happening with that? Do you know?
Are you interviewing me or are you making a point?
I'm asking you a question to see if you know it or not, so I can see if you understand it, so I can to explain it. So, do you understand what's happening with the PPP loans right now?
There's a lot of things happening with the PPP
Okay, well, let me
loans, so
tell
it
you the
just
main
makes a
thing that's
point.
happening right
Look.
now. The main thing that's happening right now is they are canceling the tens of billions of dollars that people receive in PPP loan debt. So, according to you, we're going to have to pay for the student loan debt that's going to be canceled. They should cancel all of it. We're going to have to pay for the PPP loan debt that's getting canceled. That is not happening because even right now, still taxes are still at the lowest rate it's been in American history. So this whole myth that somehow if that is canceled or we don't recollect that in quote unquote taxes on the federal level, somehow we have to pay for it. It's a myth. It's really a lie. It's a deliberate confusion that the federal government likes to do to try to make excuses for why they haven't paid my people reparations that they owe us, but they're somehow able to find money to pay for everything else. Ukrainians, housing immigrants, everything else. Oh, he left. Oh, just okay.
Yeah, I don't know. He's retweeted a few things about this space that I just kind of read through just now. So it's a lot of ops in the space. So if they come up, Tesla, I don't know where Tesla is, but if they come up, just know people are going to be coming up to oppose just for the purpose of trying to start an argument versus moving the conversation forward, like Sonny has stated. Let's have an elevated, mature, intellectual discussion that garners progress and not just going back and forth just
Exactly. So that that was that exchange, but I just want to like kind of bring you guys up to breast with who this agitator is. All right, here we go. So this is who our good brother was speaking to on Twitter Spaces. And don't get it twisted. There'll be a lot of great conversations on Twitter Spaces. Get to speak to a lot of good people. But this is the dude right here. Chris Evans and Adam Kirsch have launched Fusion Management, an artist-driven management company that will focus on actors, filmmakers, and directors. Their initial management roster features a number of notable clients with particular focus in indie multi-hyphenates and auteurs or whatever. The list includes Sean Baker, who earned Red Rock, blah, 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 blah. Evans, formerly now this is the Chris Evans dude. Chris Evans, formerly a manager at One Entertainment and Kirsch, co-founder of Brigade Marketing, brings more than 2 decades of combined experience within the entertainment industry. The two want Fusion to be a landing ground for both established creators and emerging talent. In front and behind the camera. Over the course of my career, I've learned that talent wants to partner with representation who possess the cultural competence to understand the full range of experiences, Evans said. I'm excited to start a new chapter at Fusion, where I can not only continue cultivating talented artists with distinct voices, but also become a mainstay in a business that lacks black faces, both behind the cameras and in the boardroom, helping launch filmmakers and actors as a publicist over the last 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And then that's what the other dude that I'm the white dude that he working with and stuff said. So yeah, you know, worked on a lot of good things. You know, they did some stuff. So like I said, this ain't no regular rinky dink person right here. You know, this ain't no regular rinky dink. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to our good brother, Marcel. Everyone, please go out. You know, vote for our good brother. Make it do what it do. And you know, make sure you donate to the campaign. And outside of that, man, you know, I just want everyone to understand. That this is what it is. You know, we have to unify. We have to stay codified. You know what I'm saying? But I got places to be, things to do. So with that being said, 40 to the family, 80 high to the guys, FBA all day. And you already know it's the FBA.